Oh man, I don't have no more gummies, but I ate that thing. But I got a little something in here.
You better hurry up.
For my break.
5 minutes.
My break from work. But I can't go back in there smelling like this. Where's my chronic killer? Where's my chronic?
Booyaka!
There it is. Yes, stronger. Yes.
You see? Do you see? Normal smell. No smell. Chronic killer, no stronger. World's #1 chronic killer. Who killed the chronic?
He did.
You did.
I did?
I have to go.
Oh, boss coming.
Welcome to Woke at Midnight Sports Edition. I'm Jason Bryant with my pops Joe Bryant, and we're going to be talking about sports, specifically basketball. Let's get into the basketball, and shout out to those New York Knicks. They took the championship, won it fair and square. You know, I wasn't going for the Knicks. I wasn't going for it. I was with the San Antonio Spurs, you know, only because the Hawks got eliminated. You know, shout out to the Hawks for being one of the only teams to give the Knicks one of their only losses, 2 of their 3 losses in the playoffs. You know, but shout out to Jalen Brunson and the rest of the Knicks team. You know, they stepped it up. The entire team played well. Took the San Antonio Spurs out in 5 games. Pops, what are your thoughts on kind of the Knicks' road to the championship and where they stand right now?
Well, I'm not going to say anything negative about the Knicks, right? That ain't my team, but they did a good job. They did a good job, right? And we'll get into the other stuff a little bit later on why they got here and how they got here. But what they did do was they played solid basketball, and it reminded me of the old San Antonio Spurs or the New England Patriots. They might have not had the best team, but all the other things, like when you on a championship run, you just want to be consistent, right? You might not have the most talent, you might not have the best defense, you might not have the best offense. But if other teams falter, right, now you there and you could be playing good basketball at the right time, you can get you a championship here or there. So San Antonio Spurs come to mind. They never had great players. You know, I mean, they had Tim Duncan, but they didn't have the best players in the NBA. You know, Tim Duncan was a great all-around player, Mr. Fundamental. We know that.
Manu Ginobili, right? Tony Parker.
Yeah, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker.
Leonard.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, right. But what I'm saying to you is, they never had the best talent, right? They just always had a team, right? And they weren't even, most of those years they weren't the best team. They were the most consistent team. So just say, for instance, the Lakers get knocked off or somebody get knocked off, they always going to play consistent. If you make mistakes, they're going to capitalize on it. So what ends up happening a lot of times, you have bad coaching, and bad coaching, good coaching will a lot of times make up for the amount of talent that you might have, right? And I think this year, during the playoffs, I think Mike Brown did a great job. You know, he played his bench. And to me, they had one of the worst benches in the league. But he played his bench because he understands, right, that basketball is about energy now. You know, when OKC, everybody's like, oh, OKC got the greatest team ever. It wasn't that OKC had the greatest team. They had one player, right, that averaged 28 points. Nobody else averaged 20. I'm talking about the year before when they won the championship, right? But what they realized is they played a 13-man rotation. And they kept that constant energy. They asked LeBron, I don't know if you saw this, they asked LeBron when they got blew out by OKC the second time, and they was like, well, what happened? And he was like, they were the better team. You know what I'm saying? And then they was like, well, how did that, what happened to make you lose? What is the difference between y'all team and they team? He said they're a championship team, but what they can do is consistently keep their energy going. He never said, they just got the best players. They kept the energy going. But if you looked at their team, you know, they had a bunch of small players. They wasn't the biggest. They wasn't the most physical team. But they kept fresh bodies in it, and that's always been the formula to win, right? So when I look at the Knicks team, right? I'm trying to think of my man. What's my man name who played a three?
Anunoby? OG Anunoby?
Okay, yeah. Anunoby, but the other
Mikal
Bridges. I think they played great. They played over and above what they had been playing for like a whole year and a half since they've been with New York. They played solid defense and they hit shots, right? So they, even when they played the Spurs, they weren't great. The little guard, I'm forgetting his name, the point guard for New York.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry, I'm a little off today. But Jalen Brunson, he really struggled. Even though he hit, 43 in the last game, he struggled the series. Look at his percentage. So he struggled, but they played good defense, and they played timely ball. And then when San Antonio blew that big lead, right, they were able to capitalize on it. So what Mike Brown did was he played his bench. And I was telling my boy Todd this. I said, Todd, when I was looking at the games at first, I said, as good as we thought San Antonio was, they were who I thought they were earlier in the year. And that's why I just knew the Pistons was going to win it, right? Because they weren't fit. I said when they have to go through physical teams, right? Can the big boy, right? What's his name?
Victor Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama. Right. I'm forgetting all the names today. Victor Wembanyama, right? When you put that physicalness on him, will he be able to withstand that?
Yeah.
Because he's a 3 to me or a 4.
Wemby a 3.
Yeah, he's a 3 or a 4. That's where he's most effective at. When he coming from the backside, you got to worry about where he coming from to block the shots, right? But see what you gotta. We've seen this before. Ralph Sampson. We've seen a lot of tall, skinny guys, right? You can't put them in that heat where you just down low and they banging all day because they're gonna eventually get hurt, right? His body is not right for that. That don't mean he ain't the best player in the league. What I'm saying is he's not a 5. So if you watch New York, they just put a body on him the whole time. So they had one big 7 foot, 250 pound center, then they came with another 7 foot, 240 or 235, and they just leaned on the whole time. And then when you look at, they had a good 7-man rotation, but after 7, the Knicks didn't have the San Antonio Spurs did not have the depth, and Mike Brown didn't panic. Like other teams that I know that we're going to get into a little bit later on. He didn't panic. He just played the 10 players. And they just bought into their role. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why the Knicks the champions today. But the Knicks, to me, you know what I'm saying? They won the championship, give it to them, but they wasn't by far the best team this year.
There was certainly something about them. The fact that they were going on that playoff run, only losing 3 games. The 2 games they won was in the first series against the Hawks, and then after that, they won 12 straight games before getting into the championship and taking that one loss to San Antonio. So it's obviously something Mike Brown was doing right. And shout out to Mike Brown, black coach, 3 rings now, to a couple different teams now. So shout out to him. Showing what it is to be a elite basketball coach, even though he's been fired by multiple teams.
I think they won. Didn't San Antonio win 2 games? San Antonio won. They only won 1.
One game, yeah.
It was 4-1. I thought they won 2 games.
I thought it was 1 game.
Oh, it was 1 game. Okay.
But they should have won a lot of them. It was all comebacks, which is really crazy. But I think that kind of drives home your theory. It's like, at the end of the day, the San Antonio 5 was playing better than the Knicks 5 on the first half every game, and then after that, it was the energy that really brought the Knicks back. And it's not like the Knicks did it only in the championship game. Their literal path to glory in this 2025-2026 season was coming back down 20-30 against a bunch of different teams and bringing it back in the fourth quarter, which was a run like we've never seen before. And it made me look at the New York Knicks as a different type of team. It's not just about the talent; it's about the energy, effort, and their resilience when their back's against the wall.
Right. I always thought the East was the best. I'm from Detroit, so I know I'm going to sound biased, but Detroit had the best team by far this year. But I don't even think it was close. And I just for 2 years in a row, right? For 2 years in a row, we have blown the championship. Because see, people, when they look at the year before when we played the Knicks, right? The Knicks had no answer for us because we had Thompson that just completely shut down Brunson, right? Completely shut him down. And our coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, at the end of every game would take Thompson out and bring in the little guard from who he played with Cleveland this year, right? Schroeder. Right? They would bring him in, and Jalen Brunson would just go off on him at the end. Mm-hmm. And Detroit had every one of them games won, plus they had to withstand the cheating from the refs. And it was just unbelievable. So then he turns back around this year, right? And actually, I watched every Detroit game for the last 3 years, right? So Detroit, and people don't even know this, right? They could have won the all-time. They could have had the all-time winning single season record, right?
Which is the Bulls.
They lost 10 games, right? They lost over 10 games at the end of the game. You know why they lost them?
Wow.
Because his answer, he would bring in the Michael Jordan of the era at the end of the game. Who you think the Michael Jordan of this era is?
I don't think there's a Michael Jordan in this era. Kay Cunningham?
No, not Cade Cunningham.
And who is the Michael Jordan of this era?
Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is who, at the end of the game, he would take, to me, the best player in the league, Thompson, right? He would take him out and put in Duncan Robinson, and the team every game was just like, go at Duncan Robinson. He wouldn't double team, he wouldn't nothing. He would just put Duncan Robinson on the island.
Was he taking him out because he needed the rest, or was he taking him out because
he was taking him out because he think he's the Michael Jordan? This is how terrible this coach is. I promise you, him and Tobias Harris can't check nobody. And I love Tobias, I don't even like saying, but they can't check nobody. And you had, with Detroit, you know who won every game for them? The bench. And they would bring Oscar Thompson in, right, with the bench. Anytime they was losing, Oscar Thompson would just take the ball maybe 5 or 6 straight times, and they would just blow any team out because they were sending waves of people at them. And nobody could stop it all year long. This guy gets into the playoffs. The first game, when he got a 13-man rotation that he could play all of them just swarming, right? You know what he does? He go with a 7-man, 8-man rotation with Duncan Robinson and with Tobias Harris. And you know when they played in the Orlando series, what happened? Pablo would just get the ball, right? And he would just go one-on-one with Tobias Harris, right? And he would just start backing up. And he would leave him in the game the whole game. And Pablo would hit 40. I think Pablo hit 40 twice. I've never seen nothing like it. He made no adjustments. And guess who he had on the bench? The best big man defender in the league. Stewart. Stewart was number 1 at the rim in blocks. Wouldn't play his bench, wouldn't do anything. He had to go 7 games just because of that. So when they was about to lose the series in game 6, he finally brought Stewart off the bench and to check Pablo, and Pablo looked at Stewart and just threw it at somebody, and that's how Detroit ended up winning. But he didn't play Stewart hardly any game. When Stewart, I think game 3 had, 7 blocks in 11 minutes, and you ain't got him on the court. Because they was double, like everybody talking about how bad Duran was playing, they were double teaming Duran the whole time. He played bad in the first game because he hadn't played in 2 weeks. But see, I saw Duran all year. And see, what people don't realize, when Cade went out for all those games, you know what? Duran was averaging almost 29 points a game. But guess what? on about 9 shots. I had never seen nothing like that in my whole life.
No free
He,
throws.
no, just efficiency. He was sitting like 80% percentage.
From 3?
No.
But part of that was 3-pointers, though. I mean,
No, he don't shoot no 3. I'm saying during. He was.
Yeah, but nine shots with 30 points.
That's what he was doing. Then he was just like 80%. Then the rest would be and ones, and then he would go to the line and hit about 5 or 6 points. He go look at the statistics.
Yeah, got you. Free throw.
He was just dominant all year. And when you had him and Stewart coming off the bench with Thompson, it wasn't he didn't even start Stewart the whole year. Like, why is this man playing backup center? Why he not? This has never been done before, right? You got 3 out of the top 4 defensive players in the league on one team. I bet you a statistic that nobody knows. Cade Cunningham was number 1 in defensive rating for a guard. No, for the whole league, he was number 1. And you know Thompson, the best defender, him and Wemby, right? But Thompson was just changing games. I ain't never seen somebody so dominant on the court. And, people be like, offense. To me, Thompson is the best player in the league because I've seen it with my own eyes. Anytime they was losing, you could be down 20. I remember they was down 24 against Orlando. He just came and started taking the ball. And he taking the ball from the best players in the league. You understand what I'm saying? So they had probably 7 out of the top 25 defenders on their team. I don't think that's never been done before. You know what I'm saying? You can go back to the old Pistons when they had Ben Wallace, Rasheed. They came off the bench with Lindsey, and they had Tayshaun Prince. These guys had like 7 or 8 top-notch defenders on their team. And so he gets in these series, and he is not playing his team.
And they got through the Orlando series. Who they lose to the Cavs eventually?
They left to the Cavs in the second round.
What happened with that one?
Because he wouldn't play his team. They was up 2-0. Of course, they got cheated. Now you remember it was the biggest discrepancy in the history of basketball when they had 104 fouls to 52. And then at the end of the game, remember when Thompson got pushed down and all he had to do was hit 1 free throw to win it, and they didn't call it. So they would have been up 4-1. They would have won 4-1. But they came back, and I'm gonna say this, right? I don't want to say he was on the tape, right? But either he's the worst coach in history or he was on the tape. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened the year before. We got to think about this, right? Beasley led the league in 3-point shots. He ended up losing by percentage points to my boy from Minnesota, right? He ended up losing the percentage, but he was like the best 3-point shooter all year. Got into the playoffs, didn't hit no 3-pointers, none at all.
He was missing,
and he never missed, none at all. Then he get charged with gambling at the end of the year, and he didn't even play last year. He gets indicted by the feds. And then the coach doesn't play Thompson in critical times, and he was just doing stupid stuff. This was the year before when they played the Knicks.
Wasn't it something that happened in Detroit? Big gambling investigation or something like that?
Right. So this is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But JB Bickerstaff, now think about it. So they turn around at the end of the year after the coach lost the games for him, and you get rid of Beef Stew, who was only making $15 million a year. And he number 1 at the rim in blocks. I'll pay him the max. That's how good Beef Stew is.
Action.
So whenever you need relief from muscle pains, muscle spasms, and aches, grab Q-March Vapor Rub. It's part of their new healing butter line. This Vapor Rub will have you feeling like a new person walking out the door. Need I say more?
Wasn't playing him. But you playing Duncan Robinson, who can't check nobody, right? And then you playing Tobias Harris. And when Tobias hit them 20 points 2 games, okay, he hit 20 points. You know how many points Duncan Robinson averaging for the year? 11 points. So you will have a defensive liability out there all game for somebody who averages 11 points. We got to spread the floor. And then, now here's the biggest thing. Cade Cunningham turning the ball over 10 times a game. And I don't even blame it on Cade, right? He tired because he played both ways. He's a 6'7", 6'6", 240-pound guard, right? But when he's in his mode of turning the ball over, he turned it over 10 times. He broke a record in the first 4 games of the playoffs, and I think in that series, right, of turning the ball over. The coach won't have nobody bring the ball up. Mm. And when the first game that somebody did that to them earlier in the year, and they just start pressing Cade and he was turning the ball over every time, I said they're going to lose. So the playoff coaches all went and looked at that film. They didn't even double team Cade. They double teamed Duren.
So you feel that Cade, even though he's the point guard, he shouldn't be bringing the ball up. He should just get it in the half.
No, when he get in the habit of turning, no, of course not, because he playing defense, right? Just let somebody else bring up the ball.
Think they should put him at the small forward?
No. What I'm saying is he don't have to bring it up every time. He would be super tired, and he trying to bring it up, and they pressing him every time. They pressing him. So just let somebody else bring it up and come off. This man is the worst coach I've ever seen in my life, and I hate to say it about a brother. He's the worst coach I've ever seen in the history of sports. Like it was no way that they were going to lose. Let me tell you something. They played OKC without their top 5 players. And was winning by 11 points with 2 minutes to go.
With a healthy OKC.
With a healthy, yeah. With Alexander, Shai Gilgeous, he hit the last 14 points all on fouls. You know how he go and just be flopping? Yeah. And then they end up losing by, I think, 1 point or whatever. Okay. OKC would have never beat them. And if they would have played San Antonio, you think New York roughed them up? And you got Duren. Come on, man. You know how bad Detroit beat New York all year? I think it was an average of 30 points a game, something like that. Really? Every time. So they didn't want, the powers that be did not want Detroit to play New York. So I ain't even going to lie. I think personally that it was rigged. I think it was rigged. And either JB in with it, or he just the worst coach, and that just added to it. It's making me lose all confidence in basketball. Mm-hmm. And then they go out and get rid of their good players. And then they made up this story. And you notice how all of the announcers who don't seem like they don't know nothing about basketball even when they play, right? They came out and said, "Oh, Detroit need 3-point shooting." Do you know what Detroit shot in the series against Cleveland? 42%. Do you know the 3-point shooters they got coming off the bench? Are you serious? This is the NBA. When you get to the playoffs, throw that 3-point shooting out the door. They're not leaving people open like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to put defenders on there. It's always been like that. You see what I'm saying? But you worried about 3-point shooting. So if you take all of that, Detroit shouldn't even really lost in the series. They gave the series away. That's just like me sitting over there. I remember when Detroit played San Antonio back in the day, right? First 2 games was the most fouls called in the history, and San Antonio won the first 2 games. Detroit just came back, and it wasn't even no answer. They was one-on-one on Tim Duncan. Ben Wallace was shutting them down. Game 7 got there. Larry Brown started doubling Tim Duncan. When Tim Duncan couldn't even score against Ben Wallace. All the points he had in the series, 80% of them was on free throws because they really wanted him to win, right? They didn't want Detroit to win because they the bad boys. They don't want that, right? And Larry Brown, for some reason, just started doubling them. And then Horry hit the game winner in Game 7 to win it because they doubled him. It's puzzling, man. The NBA puzzling, man. We got to look into it.
You feel like Larry Brown threw that?
Man, I didn't. I'm just telling you the facts.
Yeah.
Now you can go.
Maybe he doubled Tim Duncan.
But all I know is he was double teaming Tim Duncan for no reason at all. He can't score on Rasheed, and it ain't like Tim Duncan, the greatest offensive player in the world. He was just a good player, fundamental, can hit. If you put a lesser player on him, but you're going against Ben Wallace. When they beat the Lakers, he was going up, getting Shaq stuff out the air.
He was Defensive Player of the Year, right?
4 times. 4 or 3, I think. It might be 4 or 3. Yeah.
After that championship.
Yeah. So I've seen this. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we living in la la land in this country, and we don't want to see things for what they are, and we just keep it moving.
You know, a lot of people saying the same thing about basketball, that, you know, it's feeling rigged. There's a lot of things that aren't adding up. You know, you look at the plus minuses, you look at the statistics, it's like, this shouldn't have happened, but it did. And then you look at the game, you're like, the referees, the way that they're calling things is very questionable. But you know what? As much as I want to believe in that there's integrity within the game, the way our country is right now, you know, it's hard to believe.
That's what make you say, we know what's something going on.
Yeah.
We used to be like, it couldn't be, they couldn't be cheating like that, but now you just know how people are. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We know everything that they tell us out the White House is a lie. So why would you believe? So now, I think the thing in our country right now is we realizing we've been duped for all these years. We've been conned. You see what I'm saying? We've been conned. And then if I say anything about it, right? If this was the Lakers, if this was LeBron, if this was whoever else, I would be saying the same thing, right? I would be saying the
Wow. This Shea Honey Black Moisturizer Soap lathers up really nice. And my skin feels clean and soft. It's like a 2-for-1. Cleans and moisturizes at the same time. I like it.
same thing, but people like, oh, you biased because of Pistons. No, I'm just telling you facts. Go back and look at the games. Go back and you ask yourself, why is Duncan Robinson on the island with somebody? All they do is pick and roll. Give me Duncan. And you leave him out there. And you got the greatest defender. Like, Orlando ain't even supposed to score on you. Orlando was winning games. They was scoring 70-something points. Like, you got Thompson. Nobody can score against Thompson. Do you know how bad Brunson looked against Thompson? All they did was put him on there, and he was taking them out. That's why it's embarrassing. And then New York fans like, oh, but New York would have beat. Why they ain't beat them then? How do you lose to a team by 30 points every game and you say you're going to beat? There's no way they could beat you unless the coach throw the game. It's just no way. So, and I don't want to sound like I'm taking anything from New York, but I'm just giving you facts. You understand what I'm saying? I urge everybody to go back and look at the series. And let me just go here though. The East was loaded. When they played Orlando, they say Orlando 7 seed. That's because they was hurt all year. People never want to look at the facts. Orlando a good team. Orlando got 3 damn near 7-footers, center, power forward, and forward.
Franz.
When he came back, that changed everything. When Franz came, it changed everything for them. So they was loaded. Then they played a Cleveland team that they should have won 4 games to 1, but Cleveland was tough too. You know what I'm saying? But when you ain't playing your defenders, it's easy. Like if Stewart would have been in there, I think we sweep Cleveland. It's not even close. We sweep Knicks. I know we sweeping the Knicks. Out of anybody, I know we sweeping the Knicks. We beat them by 30 points. They not even in our league, right? And then we go and we probably beat San Antonio 4 games to 1, 4 games to 2. And that's how it should have ended up.
Now you said the Pistons. They got rid of Beef Stew. I didn't even know that. Who
they got rid of Beef Stew and they got rid of Sasser.
Who did they pick up in this offseason?
Nobody. Oh, you mean who did they end up picking up? They got nobody for Beef Stew. 2 second-round picks. So what is that telling you? It's something going on. I seen him and JB arguing on the sideline. Ever since then, he wasn't hardly playing. So JB basically was in his feelings, right? And he didn't play the leader of the team, the heart and soul of the team, right? And he just kept him on the bench like he was a scrub.
I'm not up on Pistons like you. How does the owner and the president feel about JB?
Well, that just show you the owner don't know nothing about basketball and why these nothing owners is ruling over black people playing basketball. I don't understand it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you should have known not to get rid of Beef Stew. You should have known what was going on. So here's the thing that we don't talk about, right? And this is for all y'all announcers be thinking you know it, especially Stephen A. Smith. He knows nothing and he just run his damn mouth. He just get on my nerves. But here's the thing, right? Everybody was talking about, oh, Detroit was so terrible. They general manager fired the general manager, right? General manager just put together the greatest collection of talent in history, like for one team, like he did. He drafted Duran, he drafted Cade, he drafted Thompson, he drafted Ivy. Why did they get rid of Ivy? Why would you get rid of Ivy? They gave away Ivy.
For what?
For nothing.
Another round.
They
pick?
got nobody. They got Herter. And I'm not saying Herter is nothing, but they got rid of Herter. You see what I'm saying?
He's a shooter.
Yeah, I mean, so the fact is they got rid of all the good players, and this new general manager, the boy from Duke, right? He ends up just getting rid of the team and messing the team up, and they like giving him the credit, like, oh man, how he changed the team around? To me, he blew a championship team, and now they're going to go back to nothings. Do you see what I'm saying? Like he blew a champ. Now they won't even pay Duran.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Duran was requesting a hefty contract.
No, he was getting what he deserved. He was a free agent, right? And he made All NBA, which means he's available for the Supermax.
All NBA defense.
They could have gave him No, he made All NBA.
Oh,
You didn't know that? Okay, so look. So last year they could have gave him $30 million. They didn't want to pay him the $30 million. Now he played at 21 years old this year. 21. You don't play but you'll pay Cade all that money. Cade turned the ball over. Duran is a beast, right? And everybody mad at him because they like, oh, he wasn't scoring and doing all of that type of stuff. Like, are you serious? They double teaming him. He playing center. You see what I'm saying? They double teaming him with 2 7-footers. He get the ball and he do his reads and he get rid of the ball. But the coach didn't have no plays for him to get easy basket or nothing like that. They just had Cade just dribbling around and then blaming on 3-point shooting. These guys is terrible. Detroit should be, man, if I'm Detroit, I wouldn't even support these clowns no more. And I've been a fan my whole life. 50 years I've been a fan. You see what I'm saying? But man, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I've never seen nothing like it. Never. The only coaching that I can say was, no, I can't even say that's bad in him. When Darvin Ham was coaching the Lakers, when he kept playing all the 5'10" guards. Yeah, he just kept playing the guards and everything. You know what I'm saying? And then tried to bench Russell Westbrook and all that type of stuff. It's like, man, are you serious right now?
Gabe Vincent.
Man, right, don't even get me started. And then got my man just because he can't shoot a 3-pointer because you're not creative enough to know how to utilize your talent. You know what I'm saying? Then now, yeah, so that's another one. But anyway.
All right. We'll be back for more Woke at Midnight Sports Edition.